Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're going to deviate a little bit from the printed agenda. We have some news to bring forward. Mr. Rechtenwald will be delivering the letter that I talked to the council that I just received. What this is, Mr. Chair, and members of the council, is a request that I am making on behalf of Mr. Abbas Abdul Hussein. He is the owner of the infamous Desert Inn, which is now going to become the famous Westin. He is requesting your consideration of a change in the original agreement. That change has to do with, it has some requested amendments. There are really two that are of substance. One is a change in the date, an extension of the time, and the other in terms of getting the completion of the project, and the other is a change in name. The letter you have, as you can see, I just received. This is obviously a very important subject to the council. It has to do with our agreement and the legislation that was passed that allowed that hotel to be built, where probably the thing most people remember is that the portion of beach behind the hotel where there was driving, those spots were reallocated. There was no driving hotel, and they were reallocated to a property that he provided next to the hotel. Part of that agreement required that, among other things, there's many things that he had to commit to. They were all spelled out very clearly. Two of them that are very distinct were the completion date, which had to be May 7th of 2017, and the other was the flag. Specifically, he agreed to be a Westin. What he's going to request is that we change that date from May 7th to the end of the year, which would be December 31st of 2017. I believe in all the material he has given me that I will be at a position where I can recommend the change in that date, because I think you will see by his information he will be making a presentation to you if you allow him on September 20th or April 20th. I think you'll find that everything he did was complete due diligence, and that those things that have stopped him from being able to complete the hotel on time based on the original agreement had to do with an act of God, which is Hurricane Matthew, together with maybe an act of man, which is the acquisition of Starwood Hotels by Marriott. He'll explain that. That also leads to a change in the flag. I'll let him tell you what that's going to be. With that, Mr. Abdul Hussein, would you like to step forward to the microphone and at least give them an overview of what you believe you need in terms of change? And then what I would request is that if possible, you put this on for discussion on the agenda for April 20th. We'll be able to come in and explain in more depth. At this point, all I think he needs to do at this point is to let them know what flag change that he's going to make.
Well, that'll be pretty easy. So when we started this project, given the level of investment that we were making, having something that was exclusive, that would bring something to Daytona that didn't exist, was very important for us. That changed dramatically last year with the acquisition of Starwood. It became just another brand in a much bigger corporate conglomerate. So we worked hard, tried to find another brand, and I'm happy to announce today that we're going to be a Hardrock instead. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, what he is requesting with his attorney is, because you will need to pass an ordinance, and I'll let the county attorney explain this. He needs to know whether the council would allow him to schedule in front of them on April 20th. I will work with him on a time frame based on the discussions between you and I, Mr. Chair. But he needs to know whether that you will schedule that. That will give us ample time. We have to advertise. It is, an important change in the ordinance that was passed. But I think, as I've said to you, I believe I can give you a recommendation based on everything I've learned that you should grant this. But he also will make the presentation formally to you.
Ms. Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can remember this is the first time. I think the first answer was no. 2 years ago?
Yes.
2.5 years ago?
2.5.
We were here. And things have been renegotiated. This is good for all parties concerned. It's good for Volusia County. It's good for development. It's good for investment. We got to yes but there were first a couple no's along the way, so, and council was very uncomfortable. It was disappointing, it was. But I thank you for hanging in there and working with us and bringing back a better project than probably you even imagined at the beginning. And we're very fortunate that you have continued to work with Volusia County. Thank you to the staff. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to bring up, we need a motion, Mr. Chair, to approve
Bring it back.
April 20th.
So that you can put it on the agenda,
On the
we can
agenda.
advertise, and then you can give it due consideration to pass new legislation.
Certainly.
I will second that motion.
Jamie?
Yeah, let me make it clear. It will be an ordinance, amending ordinance 2015-07 to change the date of completion and to change the franchise name. And you're authorizing the legal department the authority to advertise for April 20th at a time certain.
And that's my motion. That's what I thought I said, but that's,
I thought that's what you
what she said is my motion.
And what she said is my second.
said. Motion made by Ms. Denny, seconded by Ms. Wheeler. I guess we could go ahead and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Ms. Post.
I just wanted to say, I had requested a copy of the original ordinance yesterday, so if I could get that, do you have that?
I handed it out this morning, but I also emailed it to you yesterday at about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Handed out to all the council members.
That's just one, Heather.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm looking, okay. Thank you very much.
So I think that's great news. I think this is going to lead to something probably even better than what we thought was going to be, because I think the Hardrock flag carries a different connotation than the Weston. And I think it's going to be, I mean, if you look around at the excitement that's generated in Hardrock in general, and as I have said, my first experience with Hardrock was 1978 at the original cafe in London. So very familiar with how it's grown back in the day when two American guys in London decided to start a Hardrock cafe right off of Hyde Park. So it was a great place, and I think this is going to be fantastic. I think the community is going to be overwhelmed seeing that we have a destination, and this will fit right in plan with the East ISB corridor. I think this will give people, even though it's a little bit south of there, or as it may be, it's going to give people a destination to go, and the beauty that they will be able to go through once that's completed. They'll have a real nice an additional destination to go to, and who knows, maybe some more come along the way. So we're happy for that. I would like to just make a note when you're preparing this, that I know you set a deadline of December 31st. In light of what we experienced, if we have another hurricane, we hope not, or some kind of act of God that would cause a delay, I would like to not see this have to come back for an extension if that could be worded into, that's just my personal thought, so that we're not delaying. If it's a week or two or something like that, we're on a drop dead notice to add that.